What's the hardest part of the filmmaking process for you?
I think the hardest part of the filmmaking process is the waiting period between different stages of the process, believe it or not. The actual filmmaking, it's difficult, you need endurance, but there's also passion behind that. So I think you kind of forget how painful it is to birth a movie because you only remember the happy times making them. For me, the hardest thing is the gaps in between, where like when I finished my first feature film, it was a huge accomplishment. I was like, I finally did it. I achieved, my dream that I set out to do all these years ago. And now I have to wait for somebody to accept it, whether that be for film festivals or distribution. It's just a lot of waiting then for somebody to accept something that you poured your heart and soul into for so long. It's then up to, somebody else to make a decision of whether or not it's valid, I guess, in the marketplace. So for me, that's, I guess, the most challenging part.
What if you never make a Hollywood movie? What would you be satisfied with?
Oh, well, I guess not to be pretentious or anything like that, but having made my first feature film, I already feel, I guess, successful in my own way, where it was something that I dreamed about doing for many years since I was a child. And having done it now, I feel, accomplished, I guess. Just having done that, being able to tell a story in under 2 hours that makes sense, that emotionally moves people. I set out what I accomplished to do. So in terms of whether or not I can do a Hollywood level production, I'll be able to die knowing that I at least made one movie on my own terms. I had Final Cut, and an amazing team behind me to do it, and we all, had a blast making it. So nobody can ever take that away from me.
So were there times when you were not upset with yourself, but you're like, I have to get this goal accomplished, and I want to do it right, and I want to do it my own way, and it just kind of ate away at you a little bit?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. There were times where I was frustrated where I was currently in life, and I still feel that way, like where, I want to be doing this full time as a career as opposed to, I guess, what you would call a hobby right now, since it's, hopefully the movie makes money and we're able to do another one. But career-wise, I'd love to, have filmmaking be what puts food on the table. So that's frustrating. But it's never been something where I was like, this can't be done and I need to do it right now, because life's a process. Things take time and you have to be patient. I know for a line of thinking that you can fall into is that, well, I don't feel like doing it today, so I'll do it tomorrow. And before you know it, 10 years go by. So for me, I knew after I graduated college, I wanted to do a feature film, and I wanted to do it before I went out to Los Angeles, so that I at least had something in my pocket that I made. And I would have preferred to have done that quicker, I think, but the way that my life took me, I had to get a full-time job initially out of college to support myself and my wife. And during that time, then that gave me, I guess, opportunities to learn more, grow more as a filmmaker, and prepare myself better for making my first feature film. Writing the script for that took a long time. And I'm trying to get quicker at writing. I think that's the slowest part of the process for me, is because you're constantly trying to work out, your story beats and when is it ready to go into production. And finally, when I was working on the Honeymoon phase script, I said, okay, I said to my wife, Chloe, I'm going to give you the script for our first wedding anniversary as a gift.
Nice.
So that no matter what, it had to be done, or else I'd be a bad husband. So that kind of got me over that hump then. And since then, I've learned that you have to set small goals for yourself daily in order to accomplish big goals. So like when I'm writing now, what I do is I say, no matter what, I have to write 3 pages a day. No matter what. If I'm not in a good mood, I still have to write. And they could be terrible pages, and a lot of times they are because it's your first draft when you're writing. But you find that just by the act of doing something, ideas come to you. So you can't wait for inspiration to strike. You have to set like a hard goal and a deadline in order to bring about inspiration, I guess.